Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis, Coke Francis. I'm an editor, Twitch streamer, drag artist, and I'm here because, why yes, I did in fact just blow a ton of money on Takashita Street last week. How on God's green battlefield Earth could you tell? I'm also still more jet lagged than I've ever been in my life at the time of filming this, so I'm gonna be taking a short break from diving into the absurdities of American conservatism, and I'd much rather focus on the gayest news to come out of the last couple weeks. No, not that gayest news. Not that gayest news either. In case you were all too busy celebrating that Dick Cheney finally croaked, which is very valid, you might have missed the news that the gayest fashion show of all time debuted earlier this month. No, not that gayest fashion show. Jesus Christ. My good bitches, I present to you I Will Survive, a 36-piece fashion collection made entirely from the wool of gay rams. Please clap. The showcase was a collaboration between Grindr and Rainbow Wool, a German farm and nonprofit organization that rescues gay sheep from slaughter. Why only gay sheep, Francis? Why are the gays demanding special treatment once again? Well, Ben Shapiro, not only do studies show that 1 in 12 rams prefer other rams, but that traditional farms slaughter these poor divas because of their inability to reproduce. So with that, meet Michael Stuke, a shepherd who saves these gay rams and turns their wool into a reminder that gay pride transcends species.
Als Mitglied bei den Gay-Farmern in Deutschland habe ich natürlich zu diesem Projekt auch einen ganz anderen Bezug. Gerade wenn dann die Wolle noch aufgearbeitet wird, hat das eine besondere Wertschätzung für das Gewerbe, was wir haben, und das finde ich richtig gut. Da gibt es ganz wenige nur von, die das tun. In so einem konservativen Gewerbe wie Landwirtschaft ist das eine absolute Revolution. Und es ist schon was Besonderes.
Stuke continued by saying, quote, "This collaboration with Grindr proves that being gay is part of nature itself. The wool from these rams isn't just material. It's a message spun from animals who live freely and are loved." So this is where designer Michael Schmidt comes in, who's created pieces for every diva that you and everyone's aunt has ever heard of. And sheep with names like Cowboy Joey, Wooly Wonka, Marvin Gaye, and Franz Kafka saw their wool be turned into incredible pieces that represent every masculine archetype under the big gay sun. As Schmidt put it, the mistreatment of animals that exhibit same-sex attraction is a painful reminder of the prejudice that continues to affect LGBT communities worldwide. Hopefully, by illustrating that homosexuality exists throughout the animal kingdom, we can help put to bed the false and damaging notion that being gay is a choice. And as Grindr put it, this unexpected partnership showcases what Grindr does best, making connections that you wouldn't think exist but absolutely need do. Across worlds, borders, and now species, we connected Rainbow Wool's powerful story with Schmidt's iconic artistry to celebrate the resilience and creativity that define gay culture. A very wholesome statement brought to you by the only dating app that shows you how close people are to you by the foot. And while they did do exactly that in their mission statement, which is fantastic, that's exactly why it was kind of disappointing that there was no body diversity amongst the models that were showcased here. And I do sort of understand why, because these are archetypes that are being portrayed here. These are fantasies and fetishes that represent the history of modern gay culture. But at the same time, if you're trying to celebrate crossing borders and worlds and aiming to challenge societal traditions, why are we only seeing oiled up hairless twinks and twunks here on this runway? There's a good amount of racial diversity here, which is always great to see, as well as the inclusion of models with body modifications. But why would you only cast models that uphold that whole Adonis aesthetic that gives the gay community its reputation for being superficial in the first place? I don't know, maybe I'm just that friend who's too woke or whatever, but I feel like that decision kind of detracts from the overall message you're trying to send here, but I digress. A common complaint I see about high fashion a lot, from plebes, is when they're like, these are so ridiculous. You wouldn't actually wear any of this out in public. Well, not with that attitude, you won't. But that's not necessarily the point of every fashion showcase. They're not always meant to feature everyday garments. Sometimes they're just meant to show off artistry, or in this case, that and sending a message. Obviously, you're not going to wear this to your aunt's funeral or whatever, unless she's that party aunt, and they're not garments you normally buy for anyone else you know, except that Amazon delivery guy you've caught sneaking cheeky glimpses every time you grab your package at the front door, literally and figuratively. But if you are looking for that special gift this holiday season, especially for the most curious and explorative people in your life, then consider the sponsor of today's video. Not just any book, but the book, The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding a Civilization from Hungry Minds. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A book as a holiday gift?
That's for giving me a book last Christmas. You're rich, you jerk.
But this isn't just a book. It's a visual journey through the history of innovation, a captivating illustrated encyclopedia of humankind's greatest inventions and discoveries. What began as just a crowdfunding project turned into a best-selling book with the expertise of 50 professionals in their respective fields. The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding a Civilization contains 180 topics across 400 plus pages and 23 chapters. From the discovery of fire to early dentistry, from agriculture to magic tricks, from the building of bridges to the invention of condoms, as explained by this fierce librarian rabbit. I would have given anything to know that I could rock steampunk goggles, a long hooded robe, and high heels to protect myself back in the spring of 2020, and how to make my own alcohol at the time. This book features gorgeous illustrations that combines engineering drawings with medieval art styles, printed on premium matte art paper and a laminated cover. And for all my fellow side quest lovers, there's even a secret puzzle quest hidden throughout the book for you to discover. And who doesn't love a good secret? So whether you or someone you love are actual doomsday preppers, or just love learning about stuff, or both, The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding a Civilization is the ideal gift for the curious mind. Use the link in the description below and get 10% off your order with the promo code Francis, or by scanning the QR code right next to my very handsome face. And with that, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Starting off strong with this Atom for Atom look. Please don't demonetize me for this, YouTube. If it's decent enough for our Lord God, it's decent enough for your narc AI. And I see they chose their most Aryan-looking model to play the part. As you'll see when we go through more of these looks, my favorite thing about these is how so many of the props are also made from wool, including, but not limited to, this little danger noodle here. Though I do think that this concept was better in theory rather than the actual execution, because if this admittedly fantastic looking fig leaf wasn't here, I would probably have no idea who this Mary was. Listen, you know I take digs at everyone, including the ones I love. There will still be roasts, cause I know y'all love a shady queen. So before we get into the next one, for the youngins who might not know about this, here's a Cliff Notes history of a little something called the Hanky Code. So it actually began just a little while after the gold rush in San Francisco, when square dancing was still a big thing in California and there was a shortage of women. So cowboys, miners, steel workers, and other working class men would wear color-coded bandanas in their back pockets to signify which part they would be taking for square dancing. Blue if you were taking the quote-unquote male role in the square dance, or red for the female role. How predictable. Now fast forward to the 1970s, where this became a popular semiotic method in the gay community, particularly amongst the leather crowds and the cruising scene in general. Placement on the left or right would indicate your top or bottom preferences, and color would indicate what kinds of fun stuff you were into. The Hanky Code isn't quite as popular within the broader queer community, mostly because of the internet, so it's mainly used in kink communities in the Beer of Our Lord 2025. I bring this up because there are multiple references to the Hanky Code in this fashion show, which is very fitting given the theme, and it's also a pretty big part about learning your gay history, which you should do. I am a big fan of this next one for multiple reasons. Do I wish this big f you tire here was also made of wool? Of course I do, but the mere idea of trying to execute that sounds like a nightmare, and I'd much rather focus on this wrench here that is made out of wool. And there are so many other nice touches too. The Dick's Automotive name tag, the guy wearing it, the looking to buy hanky code, the guy wearing it, this hat that could absolutely be an everyday item, the guy wearing it. Alright, moving on. Yeah, he's ACAB, assigned cop at birth. Do you think Victor Willis would be rolling in his grave if he had one over this look? Makes sense that the Village People member who dressed like a cop would end up acting like one in real life. Anyway, in my opinion, he's got nothing on this look here that is complete with glittery wool handcuffs. I really wish I could see what's on the little badges here, since the name tags and labels on some of the other looks actually do include those details. F the police. Am I right, guys? I'm gonna move on before another hacky cop joke comes out of my mouth. Good God, I'm tired. This next one,
I am the Golden God!
and he certainly isn't taking any questions. As much as I do like this rope belt, this look kind of falls in the middle for me. I wish we had a better view of the headpiece he's wearing here, but this next one, arguably my favorite one so far. If this was a ranking video, it would definitely be up in my hot and sloppy in my mouth category. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please check out my last video where I ranked every character and date everything. First off, the concept. Wool chainmail. Dude, are you kidding me? That he's holding not one, not two, but 3 weapons made out of wool? The sword, the shield with the embroidered dragon, that one melee weapon that has like a ball with spikes on it, and I don't know the name of it. I wasn't very good in history, okay? The slouch boots aren't wool, but man, they work perfectly with a shirt can look like this one. 10 out of 10, flawless, no notes. So, fun fact, and I have no idea if he's watching this right now, but a very long time ago, I used to date a guy who wore kilts, and with no underwear underneath. Not because it's like the traditional way you're supposed to wear a kilt, he wasn't even Scottish. He just really liked the fact that it scared every other junior at our high school. But if he really wanted to lean into his exhibitionist bisexual tendencies, then boy do I have the look for him here. I feel like this is the perfect theme for a fashion showcase for gay sheep. Though I don't really care for this bag on his side, not just because I'm not a fringe guy, but because to me it doesn't really go with anything else here. The color at least matches the hat and the socks and shoes, but aesthetically it's giving more Western than anything in my humble opinion. But I'm also really not a fringe guy. This next one, okay, come through surely from Venture Bros. Although this is another look that kind of falls in the middle for me, despite it being very well crafted. The black shoes and crew socks kind of feel like an afterthought, and they don't tie into the outfit the way, say, the plaid tassels on the last look did, because ultimately that is what helps bring everything together. This is literally just me being nitpicky. Get it? Nitpicky. Anyway, this next one I am a big fan of because I would wear this entire look unironically. But I'm also kind of down bad for the greaser look because I'm a basic bitch and Marlon Brando ruined my life. If I brought up what this hanky code meant, I would probably get demonetized. And I love how this jacket looks like it's leather from a distance. But then once you see it up close, you can see all the little wool sweater detailings. This hat looks an awful lot like my cheeky little hat that I wore in my Shirts for Straight People video. Without a doubt, would buy this entire outfit for myself. Like I said earlier, this next look is perfect for a funeral for that party aunt. Or even better, if she was a Trump supporter. But it's a bit on the nose, don't you think? But the highlight of this look for sure is the wool football. Finally, a football that can't be referred to as a pigskin. Am I the only one who always found that kind of super creepy, or am I just being a soy boy? I am a big fan of this construction worker look right down to the Timbs, which aren't wool, but hey, Timbs are Timbs. And according to Bill Burr, you can get them in Saudi Arabia, which means it's fine that he took millions of dollars from their regime. Considering how all the other hats and headpieces have been wool so far, it would have been cool to see if they could maybe make a helmet out of it too, or at least parts of it. But nonetheless, I really love this vest. We've got another awesome wool wrench here, and the whole look is very cohesive from top to bottom. Get it? Stop being such a hack, Francis. Twink autumn is finally upon us because I just decreed it. And what better way to slay it than with these playful overalls and this farm boy look? Is it just me, or did they, like, give him a little too much hay to carry? I'm allergic to hay, so the very idea of it touching my bare chest skin sets off my fight or flight response. But even the chainmail model was traveling lighter with 3 whole weapons than farm boy here is with all of these bales of hay. The hanky code indicates that he's just browsing, which makes sense. He's a man hard at work at his job. And I really wish I could see what the hat says, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find any close-ups of it. Here's some lifeguard realness. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. It's admittedly kind of mid compared to its competitors. I know, how would one even make wool binoculars? I don't know, the same way they made a wool spiky melee weapon. Could someone smarter than me in the comments please tell me what that is? Or maybe even like a little wool whistle in the same vein as the handcuffs from earlier? Okay, come through, funny games. This is another archetype that I feel matches perfectly with a wool fashion showcase. I don't believe the racket itself is, but when I took a closer look at the stitching on the side, it looks like the net part is made out of wool, which, if true, is a pretty great way to incorporate that aspect into a prop that otherwise would have been really difficult to make. And just like the football, the tennis ball is made of wool as well. I can't think of a better outfit for listening to Dave Matthews Band and eating cheese sandwiches. As a compliment, finally getting into my kind of territory, we've got the dad next door outfit. His face says, "Don't touch my goddamn thermostat," but exceptions could be made. I can't tell if the newspaper under his arm is wool, but the edges do indicate that it is made of some sort of cloth, which leads me to believe that it is made out of wool, and if so, peak, I tell you. Got a corncob pipe in the other hand, a classic. If they really wanted to make it authentico, they would have added some socks with those slippers, but hey, I get it, Grindr. You've got a fantasy to sell, and yours doesn't involve socks with slippers, or cell phone holsters. Cowards. Next, we've got a firefighter look, one of the top pole dancing professions out there. I know this isn't actually what they wear in the scene, but for some reason it reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Homer accidentally takes Bart to a gay steel mill. Love the wool axe. So many great wool weapons on display here on this, the day of Grindr Presents I Will Survive. The hanky code is once again something that would get me demonetized. Let's just say he's a union comrade. I'm guessing this big gray thing was supposed to be a fire hose, but another example of a concept that's good in theory and not so much in execution, because it ends up kind of taking away from the rest of the look. I was like, is that a scarf or something? Wait a minute. Firefighters don't wear scarves. Finally got a little brand recognition moment with this wrestling outfit here. Wrestling in the traditional sense that is and looks actually gay. I mean, WWE is pretty gay too. It is a theater performance. Wrestling personalities are just drag for straight people. Anyway, this is a great looking jumpsuit. Absolutely love the matching orange shoes with the purple laces. But the jumpsuit is pretty much all there is here for this look. And again, it would have been cool to see if they could do a wool helmet, or at least part of it, because as a result, the plastic one here is kind of jarring in my opinion. Now, aside from the lack of body diversity, which does still bother me, if there's one thing besides the fashion that they really nailed with this show, it's the casting. They really did assign the twinks to designated twink jobs, like the farm boy look, and like this pizza delivery guy look here. Considering Joe's Pizza is actually very much a real business that has multiple locations in LA alone, I wonder if this was actually a subtle promotion, or if they just picked the most pizza shop sounding name they could think of. What sounds more like a pizza shop than Joe's Pizza? It's Joe, it's a pizza. Get that twink over here, give me the pizza, I don't know. But clearly the real star of the show here is the all-wool big sausage pizza he's holding. Even he knows that's the real snack on the runway tonight. Hanky Code says he'd be really into those glittery handcuffs. I love how I have to talk about this subject matter as if we're still living during the Hays Code.
Well, hello there, Mr. UPS man.
Finally, another look where we can see some name tag detailing, though I don't really have a whole lot to say about this one. Like, I like it, but it still feels kind of mid compared to the others. Same goes for this mechanic look, just because they have a very similar silhouette, but there are more standouts for me with this one. One, the wool wrench. God damn it, these wool tools will never get old. And secondly, the patch on the hat that was available at the Rainbow Wool online store, and hopefully will be again sometime soon, and it says it's cool to be schwool. Hell yeah, it is! Okay, I know I'm not a fringe guy, you know I'm not a fringe guy, but at the same time, slay. Another fantastic casting decision in the designated twink jobs category. This is a cohesive look from top to bottom. She is definitely someone's favorite deputy. The standout piece for me is the wool straw hat. It even has the curling at the edges thing going on. I don't know the word for that either. I swear to God, I feel like the straightest man who has ever straighted when it comes to some of these things. Next up, yes, Miss Girl, give us nothing. I'm not sure if this is actually supposed to be a reference to anything in particular, other than the sign that would almost definitely trigger any San Franciscans in the crowd. It's giving Agador from the Birdcage, so maybe that's what they were going for? I don't know. Couldn't they have at least given him some matching shoes? I know the theme was different masculine archetypes, so if anybody happens to know this one, please let me know, because I guess I'm simply not gay enough, and I'm proving all the biphobes right. This next one I'm probably gonna have to blur, because again, YouTube has cultivated a society of cowards, so all of the puppy greatness going on here will have to be confined to your imaginations. Unless you join my Patreon, where you can see all of my videos ad-free and, more importantly, uncensored. It's a real shame I can't show any close-ups on this one, because we've got harnesses, masks, leashes, and knee pads, and a tail, all made from wool. All created from, and I cannot possibly stress this to you enough, the wool of gay sheep. And they both, like, stay in character the whole time. Like, they're up on that runway performing their hearts out, girl. But, anything to make a video about a Grindr fashion show still be family friendly, right, YouTube? Next up, yes, Miss Girl, give us nothing, part 2, Electric Boogaloo. No, but really, I have absolutely no idea what this one is supposed to be. Whatever it is, there's not much left to the imagination there, is there? Is this also a reference to something I'm not gay enough to understand? Please, somebody out there, help me be gayer. Not to be white and weird, but I don't know just how problematic it is to have a person of color playing the caveman archetype, so I'm just, not gonna get into that one for now. But can we please talk about this adorable little wool chimp that he's holding? The leopard loincloth is cute, but the chimp is really the star of the show here, and not the outfit itself, or lack thereof. Kind of like a lot of the other skimpy outfits we've seen. So as far as a full cohesive look, this one ain't it. I know this will come as a shock to you all, so you might want to sit down for this one, fellas, but I didn't have a great time in PE as a kid. In fact, I have some horror stories that I'd much rather not get into today, so I won't. But if I had had this PE teacher, I'd still f***ing hate it. Are you kidding me, dude? Sorry, don't mind the ranting, it's just the trauma. Anyway, the highlight of this look, in my opinion, is the... oh my god, why don't I know the words for all of these things? On the clipboard, is it a positioning sheet? Is that what that is? Or is it just the world's hardest game of tic-tac-toe? Either way, it's also made from wool, just like the dad's newspaper, and I wish I could see the whole thing in case there's an Easter egg or a reference hidden there somewhere. Now, would I even know what that Easter egg could be? Bitch, do I look like I know anything about sports? So there are a few reasons I love this next one. Firstly, and I absolutely mean this as a compliment, this is the first unconventionally attractive dude we've seen so far, which is weird because something you'll notice about a lot of high fashion models of all genders is that they're usually not conventionally attractive and instead have very unique facial features or facial structures. I'm not sure if this speaks to a larger matter of beauty standards within the gay community, considering this is at a fashion show for a gay dating app, but let's focus on the hard-ass fit here. Love the this lazy glam rock look and how this blouse fits, but without a doubt, the standout feature here is the silver wool belt that you absolutely would not know is wool unless you looked at it up close, like we are here. And the same wool used for the microphone here, peak, I tell you. And the studs lining the pants, the matching silver shoes, this is another hot and sloppy look for me. Oh look, this one's fun. Is this how I've supposed to been dressing at the roller rink? Not that I've actually been to one. Honestly, this one doesn't have a whole lot going for it. I zoomed in and studied the rollerblades as close as possible. Yes, just the rollerblades. And I don't believe the shoe part is wool, which is a shame because that would have been really cool to see. If I'm wrong about that statement, do let me know in the comments. But without that aspect, you just have this rainbow leotard, which is fun, but it doesn't even really fit particularly well. So I don't know, this one's kind of a miss for me. Finally, a look for all the Mr. Ballin fans out there. We've got a nice little lumberjack number here. This is another character that's honestly perfect for the show's theme. Say what you want about the brawny guy, I don't know if he could pull off these cutoff shorts. The boots are a bit silly. Sorry. Like, I'm all for slouch boots, but these are so loose that it kind of looks like when you'd wear your mom's heels as a toddler and feel like the fishiest bitch alive. There's a lot more going on with this next one than you might realize at first glance, and there's a lot more going on with the outfit too, because clearly the standout feature are these wool gold Olympic medals. But that's the thing about these skimpier outfits, because the less there is, the more you have to make up for it, in my opinion. That's the difference between this one and, say, the roller rink look. He's definitely hairless enough for Olympic swimming. Everyone here is, actually. But why? Miss Poolboy is feeling her oats here, honey. And it's a good thing that we were able to catch the briefest of cheeky glimpses as to what's on the backside of these shorts, because this is another whatever look overall. I think they did the same thing with the wool netting as they did with the tennis racket, but that's it. The visor is just a plastic visor. And again, same thing with this surfer dude look. Now, to their credit, perfect casting with this guy. This is the exact dude I'll see rollerblading down the sidewalks of Venice Beach, and I'll be thinking to myself, God, I hate you so much, and I hate Venice so much. Granted, making a wool surfboard is probably insanely difficult, and I don't actually expect one, but like, add something. What about like little wool puka shells or something? If they could add that kind of detail to the belt on the rocker look, then surely they could do something to accessorize here, right? But this next one knocked it out of the goddamn park. We finally got another duo look that's inspired by, for some reason, a favorite amongst the pornographic genres. That was one of the most autistic things I've said in a while. Oh my god, Jesus. Nonetheless, this couple tells a story, and they incorporated the theme in so many little creative ways. The wristband and cast on the patient, the head bandage, the blue gloves on the doctor, the headband on his... Oh my god, how do I still not know the name for these things? You know, that headband with the light on it that doctors wear. Can someone smarter than me please tell me in the comments? I know I could Google it, but I don't exactly trust a search engine who thinks that my name is Josh Sider and that I'm married to a rabbi. Coming up on our last couple of looks here, I have no idea why this outfit hasn't been getting more attention in any of the event coverage I've seen of this. What a perfect garment for this theme, and such a great way to actually show off the knitting craftsmanship. The wool moccasins are a great touch, and so is this wool peace sign necklace. But again, these are the details that make for the really standout looks, which is why a lot of the skimpier outfits fell a bit flat for me. Accessorizing is very important. Never forget that, my good bitches. And last, but certainly not least, the final look for Grindr Presents I Will Survive. It's another fit that I would absolutely wear myself, and I can already hear my Gen X fans in the comments. No way, man. That's not real real punk. DIY or die, motherfucker. Say no to fashion and punk. I just have one question for y'all. If punk wasn't about the fashion in any way, why the hell do y'all put so much time into dyeing and styling your mohawks? Or wearing all the same band shirts? Or studding and patching all your clothes? I get that the DIY aspect is important. Believe me, my closet is chock full of vests and jackets that I studded and patched to death when I was in college, and I absolutely would have made the same argument back then. But it is fashion. It is a look. It is an aesthetic. This is my very long-winded way of saying, I think this look is pretty cool. The zipper on the pants reminds me of my little cheeky tie that I'm wearing here that you can't see all of because I only do drag from here up. Nobody else knows I'm wearing boxers right now. Shh. If any of you can inform my uncultured ass as to who's on the back patch here, please do so because it looks fucking sick, and his hair looking like mine in the morning, this is another hot and sloppy for me. And if you, my precious viewers and goodest bitches, would like to help the cause yourselves, you can go to rainbowwool.com and sponsor your own gay sheep today. Unfortunately, their products are currently entirely sold out, but a new drop is expected sometime soon. So with that, let me drop some of the winning comments from the last 2 videos as promised. Andre Kriegman's left nip says, Diva, that's like saying I tried to do drag without lashes. It doesn't even count. Bunny Chan Farabee says, let's be real. Saudi Arabia banned Final Fantasy XVI because they were afraid Benedicta stepping on their youth might awaken something in them. Source, I made it the fuck up, just like 99.8% of Conservapedia. For you real ones out there, I don't know if you noticed my new plushie collection, but needed a couple of divas to sandwich Homelander, so. Odysseus5150 says, did Andy just reverse one-drop rule black holes? Makes sense. He's probably terrified of anything black he can't get the cops to shoot. Girl. Directive 4 says, sandwiches are for throwing at ice. Correct. BLN8285 says, theater kids whenever they see outside theater kids. Disgusting. Cringe. Alyssa Ferguson 6753 says, not me scaring the shit out of my roommate by yelling hot and sloppy every time you talk about a character I want to get with. You too could be featured in the next video. Leave a comment below and I will pick my favorite ones and give you a shout out next time. But if you'd like to guarantee your name be featured at the end of every video, please consider joining my Patreon. If you join any of the membership tiers that are conveniently named after Fallout protagonists, your name will be featured at the end of every video. You might also get other cool stuff like access to my Discord, behind the scenes content on how I make my wigs, ad-free and uncensored versions of my videos like I mentioned earlier. So if you love my videos and my drag, you can support my channel directly by clicking the link to my Patreon in the description box. If you would like to see me simp for my favorite game characters and get visibly frustrated in real time, please follow me on Twitch. And if you'd like to see even more of my clown mug elsewhere, please consider following me on Instagram or Blue Sky. My handle for all of the above is @queencokefrancis. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't done so already, please enter the fashion show of your choice. But when everyone is just far too stunned by your absolutely rockin' bod to notice any of the incredible fashion on it, just give the crowd what they want by going ahead and unzipping your pants and dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. Thank you again to Hungry Minds and the Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding a Civilization for sponsoring this video, and thank you to all my patrons and subscribers who've helped my channel grow and thrive the way that it has been. And of course, as always, until next time,